Kia ora everybody, Chris Farhi here from Bayleys. Welcome to our housing market update for January. So I'm filming this update on Sunday 23rd of January just around noon, and about an hour ago the government actually announced that Omnicron is now in the community and the traffic light system will be moving to red. Now we'll come back later in the week with a more substantive update on this topic, but as you can imagine, potential for a bit of disruption within the real estate market. Now if you look at prior disruption in the New Zealand market in relation to COVID, it's typically related to things like lockdowns. And the trouble with applying those observations into the current period is the prior lockdowns have typically been quite harsh and quite disruptive to the operation. And there's quite often been some other interventions happening, like drops in interest rates driven by the Reserve Bank. And so both of those things are less likely to happen in the current outbreak, but from what we can see so far, it looks like their forecasts for case numbers and disruptions from things like self-isolation will probably be more substantive over the coming weeks. In terms of general observations, what we've typically seen from prior outbreaks has been a drop in listing activity, which has then actually put some pressure upwards on prices. But in fairness, the circumstances behind those were quite different to what we're seeing at the moment. So over the next week, what we'll do is we'll connect with our global partners across Knight Frank and see what they've observed from their markets during these Omicron breakouts. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get our next update as it comes out. Jumping into the market generally, January is usually a pretty quiet time in the market while everyone returns from holiday. That said, we do have the December market statistics which have just come in, which provide some insight into what was happening towards the end of last year. Now, if you went back to our December update, we noted a couple of headwinds in the market with recent rises in interest rates, tightening of lending criteria across the banks, and also people starting to head off to the holidays early. If you then jump into the latest market statistics, for December, we saw year-on-year house price growth of about 22% across the market. Between November and December, we saw a very minor drop in the median house price, and we also saw a reasonably substantial drop in the number of sales transactions. Some market commentators have blamed the headwinds that we mentioned as driving that most recent set of statistics. But if you also look at December's generally, they typically have both lower median house prices and also lower number of sales. So we think at this stage it's too early to interpret those statistics in any really meaningful way. So overall it's too hard to tell at this point, but what we are seeing across the market right now is that prices are pretty much at record levels, and we're also seeing very low levels of listings coming into this year, which tends to actually be supportive of house prices. One of the trends that we're expecting to see during 2022 is that buyers will become more selective about the properties that they purchase. This means that if you're contemplating selling, you should get early advice from your preferred agent around steps that you can take to make sure that your property is presented at its absolute best. And this includes things like resolving defects and getting a really good marketing plan for the property. Meanwhile, if you're looking to buy, one of the themes that's sticking out at the moment is the need for a very solid pre-approval for finance. And on that topic, we recommend that you should speak to a mortgage broker such as our partners at Vega to make sure that you've got that in place and that you can enter the market with confidence. Jumping into transactions, there was a very interesting sale of a small cottage just outside of Queenstown over the past month, being 53 Buckingham Street in Arrowtown. Now, this is obviously an absolutely beautiful part of New Zealand, with Arrowtown itself becoming a very trendy market with a lot of demand for properties. Jumping into the home itself, it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom historic cottage on a 260 square metre site. It's located on an iconic tree-lined street just across the road from a park and about 1 block from the main street in Arrowtown. This property was for sale by auction, and it attracted 20 bids at the auction and ultimately sold under the hammer for $1.85 million. If you want to learn more about that sale, you can talk to Nick Newman and Richard Newman of Bayleys in Arrowtown. Delving into the median house price, the median house price for New Zealand during December was $905,000. To give you a sense of what that looks like, we've got 163 Esplanade in Inakaiti in Gisborne. This property was described as retro revival on the riverbank. It's a 3-bedroom home, 1 bathroom on a 1,012 square metre site. This property was sold under the hammer at auction for $905,000. If you want to learn more about that sale, you can talk to Diane Holland of Bayleys in Gisborne. Meanwhile, up in Auckland, the median house price in December was $1.29 million. Showcasing this median is 56A Swan Beach Road in Stanmore Bay up in Auckland's north. This property is near a couple of really nice beaches and had also been double glazed, which added value to the home. Now, this 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom home was sold at auction, and it sold under the hammer for $1.29 million. If you want to learn more about that sale, you can talk to Sue Donahue or Anya Turner from Bayleys in Orewa.